New year, new me, dumbass. Hangman TA with some real cowboy shit. I'm Charles Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from the End Market Arena in Savannah, Georgia. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. We are on the road to AEW Revolution. The next stop is Collision this Saturday, and even though the WWE Royal Rumble is this Saturday, and I'm going to be reviewing that because I review as much WWE and AEW programming as I can, considering that I'm going to be working a whole lot this weekend, I'm still going to carve out some time to watch AEW Collision because Bryan Danielson versus Yuji Nagata, and I just want to see if that steel cage match is going to end up being something really good or is going to end up being really, really catastrophic. I just have to see what's going to happen, what's happening. Oh, hi, rerun. But before any Collision talk happens, gotta talk about Dynamite. And you know what? I'll give credit to the crowd that was there. They made as much noise as possible, but according to WrestleTix, they had maybe 2,500 people there. In an arena that seats around 9,500 people, and even if they only had it set up for 5, just Jesus Christ, market your shit better, Tony. Get people that know what the fuck they're doing. They have some talents that people want to see. I'm going to give an example before I dive further into this. When I was at Collision the day before WrestleDream, there were numerous people among the 4,000 or 4,500 people that were there that didn't even know WrestleDream was going to happen the next day. And they still only got about 6,500 people for WrestleDream after getting about 9,000 to 9,500 for Dynamite just over a year ago. Market your shit better. Because, again, they have wrestlers, they have people that the fans want to see, then they could do better. That being said, there were a few decent moments on this show. It's just getting to the point where if you have a crowd this small, I don't care how much noise they try to make, it just feels like fucking death. It feels like late era Nitro and Thunder, no matter how hard the talents work. The energy just isn't there. So anyway, Major League audio issues. I don't know who the fuck is in charge of the production truck, but they really, really need some help. Tony Khan needs to, do better here because it is fucking ridiculous. And if it wasn't Tony Khan, it's Warner Bros. Discovery. They got to hire better people. Something's got to be done. This is not an isolated incident. So here's Joe. He says, I beat Hook, beat people. I'm going to continue to beat people. I'm going to continue to be your AEW World Heavyweight Champion. But after actually he mentioned Hook, here's Hook. The Hook signal. Yeah, I just had to do that right there. It's late. That's the best you're going to get. And Hook says, last week you won, I lost, in a handshake, but I will see you again. I don't know where, I don't know when. It's been a long time since I saw you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. And then Samoa Joe says, security, get the unworthy out of my ring. Good shit. So Hook lays them out, a.k.a. the enhancement talents or students or whatever, and then other security calms them down. And so, they run down the card, they do all this stuff. Joe joins commentary, and, who raised that kid? And he's staring right at Taz. In the history with them briefly being aligned in TNA, that's fun. That was fun. If only Taz had been able to wrestle longer, Taz versus Samoa Joe, that would have been cool to see. Thankfully, Taz stepped out of the ring because of his neck issues and had a second career as a commentator. And he still has his health. Hangman TA, that is what Hangman Page's name is because of the mustache and him trying to look like Magnum TA. He took on Penta with Alex. Cowboy shit. He's just screaming cowboy shit. Seattle, the Zero Fear thing, and he yells cowboy shit. You can hear fans in the back rows breathing because it is really, really echoey in there. Again, bless the fans that turned out, for really, really trying to make noise. Joe was enjoying watching Hangman get chopped. And look, I like Penta. The problem is we've seen everything from the Lucha Bros after being on AEW programming for, the better part of 5 years. Sure, they've had breaks and stuff like that, and there's been times where Phoenix and Penta have been singles, but it kind of dissolves into the same stuff. And Hangman is as good as he's ever going to be. As good as he's ever going to be. Does not feel like a former world champion. His fans love him. He stands up for good causes. I'm kind of done with him, to be perfectly honest. They did a bunch of shit. There was there was an apron deadeye. Why do an apron spot in the first match? I don't get it. A moonsault. And eventually he hits the buckshot 1, 2, 3. This took 15 to 17 minutes. It was what it was. Orange Cassidy is going to keep on wrestling. Okay. And there's going to be a bunch of people in a match on Rampage. And the winner of that will face him on Collision. So anyway, why is Marvez still there? Genuine question. Why is Alex Marvez still there? He's a really good sports writer. He is not a good TV personality. The Bucks are here, the Italian Bucks. Use our passport names. They shouldn't be allowed to travel out of the country. They shouldn't even be allowed in this country. We're here to make sure the show runs smoothly. Good, leave, and the show will run smoothly because it's a wrestling show. At least it should be, and it won't be while the Bucks are there. So then Wardlow, with the Undisputed Kingdom members, took on Trent with Rocky Romero and the Goofs. Referee Rick Knox, so you know nothing's going to get enforced. Look, I'm done with the best friend stuff. I'm done with that. Wardlow, they had multiple opportunities with him, even into as early as like maybe the spring of 2023, and they lost it with him. They just lost it with him. And I like Wardlow. He has talent. But Wardlow took Trent lightly. Trent eventually fought back. They did a referee distraction spot. I don't know why Rick Knox never enforces anything. But eventually, Wardlow just hit that KO knee that, he lifts the guy up and then hits the knee and then hit delayed last ride powerbomb 1, 2, 3. Danielson versus Yuji Nagata is happening on Collision. Okay. Yuji Nagata wrestled on WCW Nitro and on a WCW pay-per-view. I'm not kidding either. He wrestled, I believe, Ultimo Dragon, if I remember right. I actually met Ultimo Dragon at an indie show about almost 5 years ago. Really nice guy. So, Copeland and Suzuki package. And then Renee interviews Deonna Purrazzo, who looked fabulous this week, I have to say. And once again, to the fat-shaming fucks, seriously, what the fuck? She's happy with somebody. She's happy with how she looks. He's happy with how she looks. And what the fuck is it for you to judge what somebody does? So anyway, Timeless Tony Storm, along with Mariah and Luther, for what he's worth, nothing. At least as an on-screen talent. They have the black and white and the color cut. Look, Tony made the most of this, and sometimes I like her stuff. Sometimes it grates on me. And I gotta admit that there were a few points that grate on me. She will twist her lips. I knew a gynecologist that did that. Malpractice suits followed. Moving on. Deonna basically calls her a delusional sham and says, I want the Tony Storm who slept on dojo floors and stayed at my house when she came to the U.S. And apparently they have matching tattoos. I was not aware of this. And then the shoes get tossed, and then Luther gets kicked. And I think that's the first time he's taken a bump in about a year. And, okay, Deonna and Tony, if they just let them wrestle, and Tony does a little bit of character work, and they don't do any of the stupid shit like with the metal plate and the tights, and it was really, really badly shot. If they do stuff proper, both can work. This could actually be something good for Revolution. And they really need to just have this at Revolution. Don't have it on TV. You got, 6 weeks until Revolution? So anyway, Moxley then talks about the BBC. I'm sorry, the BCC. Who cares? The British Broadcasting, channel. And championships, we don't have time to party. That some people come over here to party, and that's not what he's about. To be fair, he got through rehab, and he cleaned himself up, and good for him. He'll maim anybody that doesn't take this seriously. Says the guy that has to bleed in almost every match, and he will rip anyone's heart out. Or rip his own heart out. That's one way to avoid the surgeon charges. So anyway, Johnny TV, a.k.a. John Morrison, a.k.a. the man that has a lot of nicknames, and Taya Valkyrie, Jesus Taya, looks tremendous. They're an on-screen couple, Taya, and they're a couple in real life, by the way, but at least they're putting it on television again. Because they've done it they've done it on other programs. I think they did an Impact. I think. If not, they should have. I believe they do it in Mexico. Anyway, she wants to take on Deonna. Okay, that could be good. Swerve with Nana, who swerves when he drives, and he took on another guy that likes to swerve when he drives because Jeff Hardy is out there with Matt. Look, I don't know what's going on with Matt and Rebby. I don't really care. I just hope the kids are going to be all right. Those two could just fracture at the goddamn seams for all I care because of how toxic they are. Jeff Hardy has no business being in a goddamn wrestling ring. So, yeah, one swerves when he drives and the other is named Swerve Strickland. Jeff Hardy was born in 1977. He's going to be 47 this year. He can't move. He is washed. Swerve had to carry him a ton here. Who is the heel? Because Swerve threatened Hangman's Kid, all this stuff, but the Hardys are supposed to be heels because that worked out so well when they tried to make Jeff Hardy heel. Victory Road 2011. Anybody remember that? You never know with Jeff Hardy. Dude is out there. Yeah, Taz with the understatement of the goddamn century. We get the rail, or the attempt to do a dive over the rail. Jeff barely makes it to the rail. The twist of fate on the steps where Jeff falls and hits his head. You idiot. Jeff is washed. Stomp. 1, 2, 3. This was bad. This was really, really bad. Tony Khan better just pay the Hardys the rest of their contract and just let them do something else. This is not helping their legacy. It's damn sure not helping his television program. So Renee is with Hangman TA. Swerve instantly interrupts, and then Hangman says, "New year, new me, dumbass." Ooh. We got the mustachioed badass over here. I don't know what the fuck that accent was. I'm tired. Anyway, Dealer's Choice matches next week. Hangman chooses Swerve's opponent, and Swerve chooses Hangman's opponent. Choose Nana. Have Swerve face Nana. That would be funny. Except they can't do anything with Nana after what they did a little bit later. Thunder Rosa took on Red Velvet. Okay. This is Rosa's first Dynamite match in almost a year and a half. I think the last time she had a match on Dynamite was in August, so we're pretty close to that. And good, and I love Thunder Rosa. What a fucking talent. Red Velvet came back from a knee injury, has improved, has great flexibility, has a good look to her. Both these women can do shit. Red Velvet is up and coming. Thunder Rosa is well established and still has plenty of years left and a lot to give to wrestling. Clearly, Thunder Rosa was the veteran here. They worked hard. There were some spots that were messy. I don't know what was going on here. Rosa did her best. Velvet had exuberance. And then there was that weird bomb that she does. I think they call it the Tijuana bomb, I believe. But Thunder Rosa got the victory. Always love seeing Thunder Rosa on my television. She wants a shot at Tony. Personally, I think if you're not going to have Thunder Rosa beat Tony, have Thunder Rosa go after Julia Hart's TBS championship. She could be the woman to hold both. Why not? So anyway, Serena Deeb's returning on Collision. Shivani then brings out Sting and Darby. Darby praises Sting for inspiring him and coming back after, his career was supposed to be over after Night of Champions 2015. It was an accident. It was not Seth Rollins' fault, by the way. And, the Bucks are in the back with headsets. Like the Bucks know anything about television production. So, anyway, Sting and Darby want the tag titles. You still got it, is what Darby said when he went to Sting's home in Texas, and they rolled around the ring for a bit. Okay. The problem is I couldn't get a lot out of this because I was distracted by the fact that Sting had so much black on his goddamn face and it was running down like he was Giuliani. Who I just want to say right now, I hope just loses his goddamn ass. Just want to say that right there. And everybody that supported that goddamn criminal piece of shit, yeah, you deserve to lose your ass. Anyway, Sting had so much black on his goddamn face and everything, and it was smeared on his ears, and look, they probably had him go out there really quick. And maybe if it's a TV lights, but goddamn. I mean, he's 65. 65 or 64, 65, but still. Yeah, they want the tag titles. Starks and Bill in the back accept it. And then the Mughal Embassy make their entrance. The Gangbang Gang makes their entrance. The Acclaimed make their entrance. Then the Acclaimed of Castor Bowens and Billy took on the Mughal Embassy. And I know it's the Mogul Embassy. The Mughal Embassy sounds funnier to me, because I just picture Mughals running around the ring, and it amuses me. And I like Bishop Khan. Toa Leone is a good big guy. Brian Cage is also there. And Prince Nana, who swears when he drives, was there. And it's the AEW Trios Championships. I noted we have 20 minutes left at the start of this, and we still have the main event to go, because nobody can time this show properly. My DVR records an hour over, but a lot of people don't have that luxury. So anyway, the match was what it was. The problem is I have been given no real reason to care about the Trios titles, even though, again, I like some of the people involved. Except Cage, I just really don't get it with him. I don't think I'm ever going to get it with him. He was good in Lucha Underground. Also, I was in my 30s when Lucha Underground was still relevant, and I'm 43 now, so there you are. So later, Nana tries to distract Aubrey. He's thrown a chair into the ring. Jay White grabs it, and the Guns then pick up Nana and carry him almost the length of, half a football field. I kid, of course, to a table over the, in the timekeeper's area, and throw him through the table. If they had actually saved that, because people they cheer Nana's dancing, but they boo when he does, heel stuff. They could have saved that, and they could have meant something, but they just blew it right there. They just totally blew it. And Billy pinned Khan after the mic drop. I'm glad that Billy is still getting television time, because he is still one of the most over people they have. But they got to do something. By mid or the end of 2024, they got to have a complete talent turnover. They got to really refresh stuff. They got to do it, and they got to make sure they hit the hard reset. So anyway, the Adam Edge Copeland against Minoru Suzuki. I imagine this was a thrill for Copeland. And I love Suzuki. Guy's a badass. Guy wrestled for, Star Wrestling in 1988. He did MMA, Pancrase, all that. He is tough. Father Time has latched onto him. It has held onto him, and it ain't letting go. They strike. The 105-year show. Because that's the combined age here. Dustin and Christian Cage had a combined age of 104 when they opened up last week's Dynamite. Now you have this. There was a choke out to the floor. There was a gimmicked barricade bump where I think both hit their heads. Later, there was an impaler back in the ring. And I know Suzuki is going to be 56 this year, and this probably is his last year. And I'm not saying I want him to take hard bumps, but Jesus, not good. Fujiwara armbar, then a spear for 2, and then Suzuki sits up. The camera missed the sit-up, by the way, and he gets a rear naked choke on. Well, Copeland fights out that, eventually hits the kill switch engage. 1, 2, 3, gets the victory. 6-minute overrun, by the way. I saw it all, but I'm sure some people didn't. And he wanted to give respect to Suzuki, handshake, and Suzuki just yells and leaves. And then Copeland says he's going to go after Christian Cage and all that. And AEW is going to have to give me more reasons to really keep tuning into their programming. Because by the time we get to Double or Nothing, that may be a turning point. It's getting hard to watch. There were moments on this show that weren't bad. There have been moments on other shows even going back a few months. But ever since Wrestle Dream, it just feels like they are going, they're going backwards. Except for Joe as champion and a couple things they're doing, in the men and women's divisions. It feels like quite a bit of it. Like I'd say 60 to 65% of it is just them spinning their wheels. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Riplin. I'll see you soon.